And I'm going to say hello, everyone. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby, and I am just truly happy to be with you this Sunday. This is Inspiration Sunday. This is how we set the tone for the week. And we're completing our series of Unchaining Spirituality. So we're untethering ourselves from those things that no longer serve us, and we're opening up to something even greater. And so today we have our wonderful Patty with us that is going to be sharing a reading. And we also have our Catherine Redmond with us. So, Patty, what is it that you have to share with us today?
This morning is a reading from Acts of Faith, and it starts off with, "No one can judge you unless you let them." And the reading is, "Don't should on other people, and don't let them should on you." Should is a judgment we make based on our experiences and perceptions. When we pass that on to other people, we are judging them. Should is an expression of fear. It says that our way is in the way. Our way is the right way. And if you move beyond that, you might prove I'm wrong. Should is the way we control others to make them think or behave the way we want them to. Should takes us on a guilt trip and limits our capacity to grow. If we only do things we should do, we will never learn another way we could do it. Should limits us to what is comfortable. Should keeps us in a place that is familiar. Should makes us responsible to someone other than ourselves when we know that is not the way we should live. And the affirmation that goes along with that is, I should do only those things that feel right for me.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And here we are, and Kathy is with us today. And Kathy, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I've had a wonderful weekend with my granddaughter, and we're just having the best of time. In fact, I now have rainbow hair.
Yeah,
So,
I know I was looking at the rainbow hair. Can you just hold your hair down just a little bit? Let everybody see. There you
mhm,
are.
yeah,
Oh, hair.
purple and blue and pink.
You got a little green in there too. It's
Yeah,
not
I do.
right now. If you held your head down just a little bit more, you showed it to me. See, there's a little of the green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she did a
Yep.
wonderful job. So, and then I understand she did your makeup also.
Oh, yes, she did my makeup, and I think she did a great job.
She
She's
did an
she's
excellent
just an amazing little 5-year-old.
job. Wow.
So, but she insisted when I was first trying to dial in, she says, "Grandma, you cannot go on TV with your hair and makeup not done."
Wow. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Our theme is the Tao of Freedom. And
Uh-huh.
choose freedom with love. I'm going to just say it does make a difference.
Yep.
Can you please share with us your reading for the day?
I sure will. My reading is entitled I'm sorry, I live in the life of God. And my quote from John is, "It is the spirit that quickeneth." And then Ernest goes on to say, "All life is one life, just as every physical substance known derives from one universal energy, there is but one life principle, which is God, in which we all live and from which infinite source is our individual lives as they are drawn. It is this one life if this is one life, it presents everywhere, and it also is within us. To say that the life of God is the only life there is means that my life is not only in God and of God and from God, it is God in and through me. If this were not true, I would not have a life separate. I would have a life separate from God, which is unthinkable and impossible. But if it is true that the life of God is my life now, I willingly must have been thinking about this life. I have judged it falsely and condemned it unnecessarily, and in every way, shape, and manner, in my ignorance, I have denied the very thing I should be affirming. There is one life, that life is God, and that life is my life now. In God I live and move and have my being, and God lives in me and moves through me. If I deny them, that then there is separation from good, and I affirm that every organ, action, and function in my body is animated by the divine life that created and sustains it. It is this life that is circulating through me now in happiness, in harmony, and with perfect rhythm. I am one with the whole. Therefore, I say to my mind, you are to live and think and feel this truth until it is spontaneous and natural. And when you say God is my life, you are to know that the entire life of the divine and perfect presence is now flowing through you. I affirm in this today, the day of God is the only life there is. That life is my life now, complete and perfect.
Mm, how filling, how filling, how filling. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Both of these readings are just profound. And what I'm going to say is, for me personally, I'm in my own personal liberation right now. There's the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important part is to be in the moment.
Yes.
That that's part of the Tao of freedom and the liberation of unchaining ourselves and being present in the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
this has been very, very rich and very powerful. Wow.
I'm reading another book right now called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And this reading is in direct harmony with exactly what I read last night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the truth.
The Power of the Subconscious Mind, it's that the one by Joseph Murphy?
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So on.
Yeah.
Yes. It's all about our liberation. It's all about our growth and our expression. It's all rich. It's all very powerful. And it is stimulating.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important part of this whole process is we get to choose. That pathway
Mm-hmm.
of freedom has a lot to do with the choices that we make and how we use this power, how we strengthen ourselves. So it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
It is all good. Making
Yes.
of love and law. That's what it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Well, I hope everybody joins us on Tuesday as well.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to join us Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be a wonderful day. It is a wonderful opportunity for us to step out of the old into the new, because what we're doing is we're creating something new. So Jesus talks about putting wine in old skin. We can't.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have new skin. This is that process, opening up to something even greater, birthing something. And we're going to default to the vision. And they say people without vision perish. So it's going to be really rich. It's going to be really wonderful.
I am in complete agreement.
Um, what we're talking about is unchaining spirituality, and we're also talking today about the path or the Tao of freedom. And so this is part of that process of focusing on freedom and moving into a space of liberation. Isn't it wonderful to know that we can choose our path? What a wonderful, wonderful blessing. And although we can choose our path, the most important part of this process is to remember, too, that we get an opportunity to move into life in a way that can support us, and it can also conform to this thing we call universal law. So it is making the highest and the greatest use of universal law through the choices we make, and out of those choices, it supports us in terms of our evolutionary growth. And I'm going to say this here. Right now, we have quite a lot happening in the world. And although we have a lot happening in the world, it is also a moment of liberation. I believe that at this moment, and especially all around the world, we all have that opportunity to take a stand, to release the collective thought, and to move into a new way of being. It's a moment of birth. And in that moment of birth, we get an opportunity to hear the essence and to experience the beauty of God in action. Ernest Holmes says that the road to freedom lies not through mysteries, occults, performances, but through the intelligent use of natural forces and laws. The law of mind is a natural law in the spiritual world. And what we've been doing this past couple of months, we've been working with the Prosperity Plus program. And in that, working with the Prosperity Plus program, we spent a lot of time with Raymond Hollywell. And Raymond Hollywell really supported us in really having an understanding of law in his book, Working with the Law. So Raymond Hollywell says, all that we may desire to have and be is ours for the asking as we correctly apply the law of life, the law of mind. When a circumstance arises that we're not to come under it, to submit to it in servitude, but we are to surmount it, to overcome and master it by exercising the creative law of thinking, and thus grow in wisdom and power. Ernest Holmes also reminds us that the divine plan is one of freedom. The inherent nature of man is ever seeking to express itself in terms of freedom, because freedom is the birthright of every living soul. So, when we understand, as Ernest Holmes reminds us, that we are eternal beings, as he says, you are eternal beings on the pathway of endless unfoldment, never less, but always more yourself. Life is not static. It is forever dynamic, forever creating, not something done and finished, but something alive, awake, and aware. There is something within you that sings the song of eternity, and listen to it. That's the essence of freedom. And in that essence of freedom, when we open ourselves up in a divine way, we will experience it more and more and more. It also creates that space for us to untether ourselves with different things that are happening in our lives, old ways of being. It opens us up to the infinite. And when we are experiencing good, that good continues to unfold. So the most important thing for us to remember is not to be afraid of change. because does lead us through the pathway of freedom. The other part of that process is releasing the shoulds and just opening up to spirit. That is the reason I want to invite you all to join us over the next few weeks. We're beginning our series, The Secret to Our Success is Visioning, and you can see it in the background. I'm so excited about this because I truly believe that visioning is the secret to my success, and it is the secret to yours. So as we're moving through change right now, as we unchain spirituality, and we move into that space more liberated into the space of freedom, we get to remember we have a responsibility. And that responsibility has to do with the choices we make. It has to do with our being students of the universe. And being a student of the universe means we continue to learn and grow. We continue to go back to principle again and again. So the thing that I love about these teachings, the thing I love about Ernest Holmes, is that he set a model in place for us. And that model is a profound model. And it is to go back to principle again and again. And he embodied what his teachers had given him over the course of the years. He embodied Emerson. He embodied Troward. He really took to heart what Emma Curtis Hopkins had to share with him and embodied it again and again and again. And he listened within to the inner teacher. Our goal and our essence in life calls us to do the same thing. And so I'm inviting you right now to join us this coming week and participate in this visioning. The visioning is put in place at this moment for this ministry to support us all as we open up to the new path, a new way of being. And so that time that you'll be spending on Tuesdays with us will be a time for you to anchor yourself, to open up to your infinite possibilities. And the most important part is to listen within for the inner guide, the inner stirring, those longings and those discontents that will shape and support you in being courageous and making the choices that will support you. Once you get clarity on that, the universe comes in and really supports you. So with that in mind, I'm just going to invite you to join me right now because it's important for us to remember how to engage in spiritual practice. Visioning is a meditative process. It also makes use of the spiritual practice of prayer, our sacred communion with spirit. So with that in mind right now, I'm going to invite you to just breathe. And as you're breathing right now, we just take this moment and we move into that space and just remember that there is only one, and that one is God in motion, God expanding itself, and God settling within itself. And so in this very moment, right here, right now, I just acknowledge the power of love in action. I'm acknowledging the power of peace and God fulfilling itself, enriching itself, and God expressing itself. And what I know about this power and this presence is the Spirit of the Divine has already gone before. It has prepared the way. And it is this energy and this vibration that is the sacred movement of love, overflowing, love expanding itself, love revealing itself, love as the one and only source. And it is this source here that I know that is pliable, It is this source here that I know that is fully present. And it is this source that points itself in the direction of infinite wisdom, infinite good. It is the divine liberator. And so in this divine liberation right here, right now, I take this moment to acknowledge God as freedom. And I know that that presence fulfills itself freely for each individual. That the presence of the divine is spirit expanding itself. It is divine wisdom moving and expressing itself. It is the divine essence of love in motion. And so right here, right now, I take this time now to acknowledge it at every point and every reference. And what I know about that point and reference is that the seed of good fulfills itself. And it is the seed of good that brings about a peace that passeth all understanding. It is this seed that is overflowing in it. It is the divine light. And so in this very moment, right here, right now, I claim and know that this power is the only power expanding and overflowing. I claim and know that the presence of love is the divine light. And it is this divine light that expresses itself as the one and only power, the one and only spirit. And it is this one and only power, this one and only spirit, that is the energy, it is the vibration, it is the healing factor, and it is this healing factor that I know has fulfilled itself as life ever giving of itself. So what I'm knowing is in this very moment for each individual, that this is a sacred moment, that the peace that passeth all understanding is alive. It is the divine blessing, and it is the energy that fulfills itself. And what I know is everyone is lifted up to the place of the Most High. I'm acknowledging this power right now within all of our life areas. I know that it is the spirit of wholeness. It is the spirit that expands itself in terms of our work in the world. It is the very breath we breathe. And I know that that same power empowers itself financially for us and supports us. And I know that that God energy meets every seeming need. And I know that it is that divine essence that is in direct relationship with itself, healing and revealing its truth in all of our interactions, within all of our relationships. It is God overflowing. So I'm giving thanks right now for this wonderful presence. I simply release it into the action of universal law. And together we affirm and we say, and so it is. Amen.
So it is.
So I'm just giving thanks right now as I open my eyes, look into your eyes. And I want to thank you for just showing up and being present right now. And thank you for just continuing to be consistent. I'm looking forward to us coming together on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to the consistency of spirit expressing itself through us all and blessing us all beyond that which we can't even imagine. And so as we close, I want to share a special treat with you. And that treat is a music recording by Gary Lynn Floyd, Unbound.
Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax relax your senses. Feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting, without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love that's growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. Already who you are. So lift up your voice. Lift it up now, now. Let it be heard. Let it be heard. And tell me your story. Tell it to me, and don't leave out a word, not a word, no. 'Cause I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you, and you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unfold your heart.
So have a blessed week. There's so much more to find out about all the good that is unfolding. And I appreciate you all. Namaste.